I don't want to be strong like man who look pretty. I want to be strong like bitch that fight bears in the forest.
Welcome to another episode of Bitch vs. Bear with your hosts, me, Amber, my bestie, Sydney. Woohoo! We are co-owners of Shield Maiden Training Co., and this is a show where we bitch, laugh, and chat about all things fitness and wellness related to women and the LGBTQIA+ community.
Look at you go. That was so smooth. Smooth jazz.
It should be by this time.
I know, right? At 94 episodes or whatever it is.
We're getting close to 100. It's coming up next month.
Wow. It's kind of how my knees feel sometimes. Close to 100. Actually, my knees have held up quite well.
Yeah, mine have not.
I do have a big toe issue.
Well,
that I can tell when it's gonna rain because the barometer change hurts my big toe. Yeah, turned into one of those people.
Nice,
awesome.
That's great.
Okay,
that's something.
So you read a lot.
I do.
And so my question for you is: have you ever read the book or heard of the book Assholeology?
I had not until this episode.
Ooh.
I saw the title of it and was like, oh God, what are we doing? But I see from my notes that Assholeology, the science behind getting your way and getting away with it, is a self-help book co-authored by Stephen B. Green, David Sampson, and Brett Sentry. The book presents a tongue-in-cheek guide on how to leverage assertive, confident, and sometimes manipulative behaviors to succeed in various aspects of life.
That is Assholeology right there.
Seems like a great book.
Yeah, it really offers a humorous and irreverent take on like what we would consider like traditional self-help or like advice books. The book is really like structured around the idea that in certain situations, adopting a more assertive and unapologetic approach, what the authors call being an asshole, can help individuals achieve their goals and navigate social dynamics more effectively.
I feel like that would be really great for women, especially.
Yeah.
Who are taught to be very submissive and apologetic for everything.
Yeah. So what made me think about this topic is I have often been referred to as somebody who's pretty assertive and things like that. I actually read this book back in like 2010, 2011. It was gifted to me. And at its core, the advice can be like super empowering for women in the LGBTQ plus community who, like you said, often face challenges in asserting themselves in various social, professional, and personal contexts. So in this episode, I think it'll be fun to explore the key takeaways from the book and discuss how women and LGBTQ plus individuals can really embrace the strategies to enhance their confidence, assertiveness, and probably just like overall agency in all the different like facets. And then maybe you'll want to go read the book.
Yeah.
It's a cool book. I still have my copy somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't really get rid of books.
I lost a lot of my books. In one of my moves, I think I had to get rid of a lot of them. I'm slowly building library back up. I once filled an entire walk-in closet shelving with books in my younger years.
That does not surprise me. I probably have that now, but they're just in like various places in my house until we build a very like large bookcase.
Makes sense. Cool. Well, I'm excited to get into this.
Yeah.
So I guess let's start with the key takeaways from Assholeology.
Also, what a great name. Like,
I do love it. Yeah. All right. So first, embrace confidence and assertiveness. That makes sense. Confidence is the cornerstone of achieving one's goals. It involves believing in oneself and one's abilities, which is crucial for both personal and professional success. Assertiveness, or the ability to express one's thoughts, feelings, and needs directly and respectfully, is equally important.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, at least for me, when dealing with things, like I try to take a very assertive stance on most things. And I think for the most part, it's why I've been able to be fairly successful is like I tend to take that approach, where I think a lot of women, because of the context of how they're taught to be submissive, take a much more passive aggressive approach, because they've never been taught how to be assertive, and the way that we interact with each other a lot of times also has that like under that passive tone to it. But then we get to a point where we're so frustrated that aggressive really comes into play. So I think for the most part, like most women start out as pretty passive in their communication style, and then it develops over time into passive aggressiveness. And it's such an interesting like social dynamic of like we're taught be submissive, be very passive from like a young age, and then as we develop emotions and feelings and like finding ways to express them, it comes out much more so as that passive aggressive versus assertiveness. Yeah,
absolutely.
This one, I think I really took it to heart when I read the book. I have since renamed it, but I think like really at its core what it is strategic manipulation can be beneficial. So while the term manipulation often has like very negative connotations, I think in this context, it refers to strategic behavior designed to navigate social dynamics effectively. So like doing the thing that women already do pretty well, which is read social dynamics and like pick up on social cues, especially like very subtle social cues. And so like what this does is allows us to manipulate that in oftentimes a positive context. So it's like using tactics like strategic lying, playing hard to get, and leveraging power dynamics to one's advantage. So I don't want people to think like strategic manipulation is negative, because it's not always like you have to be 2 steps ahead and use this to your advantage. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think we're taught societally that manipulation is bad, even though we all do it. Like, so either
I guess it's comes down to your intentions, right? Like if your intention is to do harm to others through your manipulation, like, that's bad. Don't do that. But if your intention is to create a better situation, or, figure out find a way to advance your career in a male-dominated world, which a lot of upper management businesses are, like, sometimes you got to manipulate a little.
I mean, it's like...
And, like, arrange things.
Like, chess is manipulation, if you think about, like, the game, right? Like, it's manipulating people into making moves that you know that are going to be more beneficial to you and detrimental to them. It's that kind of thinking where it's like, okay, this is an okay way of thinking. And I don't think women or folks in the community are often taught or allowed to think like that they can operate that way. And I think that's one of the ways that men advance so more frequently, is because they do think that way, and it's something that
it's strategic thinking.
It's strategic thinking
when they do it.
It's manipulation when we do it.
Because a couple of them went to one session of therapy and learned some terms, right?
Okay.
All right.
Other takeaways from the book.
This is going to be a long episode. I think this is long notes. All right. Balance is crucial. There's a fine line between assertiveness and abrasiveness. It's essential to balance assertive behavior with empathy and social awareness to avoid being genuinely unpleasant or harmful to others. Being an actual asshole.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things about the book that I really like is they talk about the application of these things in various aspects of life. So assholeology, are like that concept is applicable across different areas of life, including work, relationships, and social settings. And the book provides tools for negotiating, setting boundaries, and managing conflicts effectively. Also, I think it's so funny because this book came out like 15 years ago, and it's what we all see on TikTok and things now. And I was just like,
This is familiar.
This is familiar.
Pretty sure this already existed.
Yeah. And it did, and I remembered where.
I love it. Okay. I'm excited to read this book. Okay. So next is The Art of Not Caring. One of the key insights from the book is the importance of not being overly concerned with others' opinions. This gets easier as you age. This mindset allows individuals to focus on their goals and needs without being held back for fear of judgment.
Yeah. And I mean,
Makes sense.
I equate it to my, like, you don't have to ride other people's roller coasters. Like, when I say that's the art of not caring. Is like, they can care really deeply about that, but that doesn't have to be the ride that you hop on.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other key takeaways is, I love this one, selective ignorance.
Okay.
So it involves strategically ignoring certain social norms or rules to gain an advantage. One of the ones that
would be very uncomfortable for me.
that I like in selective ignorance is like, there's not a problem unless you tell me there's a problem. Like, I'm not going to just like the whole like walking on eggshells. You don't have the confidence or the assertiveness to speak up for yourself about how you're feeling in a like respectful manner, then it's not a problem. And I'll just ignore it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I just think it's so useful in situations where conforming to expectations like really limits you, and also like just it, again, makes you ride other people's roller coasters. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have the tools to speak up, there's nothing for me to do. Like, I don't delve in subtext. Do I know that you're probably upset? Absolutely. I'm not an idiot. Like, I am a woman.
I can read the subtext. I'm just not responding to it.
Exactly. I can read it. I'm just not responding to it.
I mean, that's fair. All right. So next up, we have feigned indifference. Feigned indifference is a tactic where one appears less interested than they actually are to create intrigue and maintain control in social situations.
Ooh, playing hard to get.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that is.
I love it.
Yeah, which is such an interesting concept because, like, in the book, it talks about, like, this being a core concept. But as women, we're taught, like, oh, it's not nice to play hard to get.
Right.
Or, like, you know, it's like, no.
It's always given a very negative connotation.
Yeah. But in the book, it's like, no, this is,
Yeah.
do this.
Create the intrigue.
Yeah,
Create demand.
Exactly. One of the other core concepts is that power posing, which I absolutely love. So
You're good at this one.
power posing or using confident body language helps to project dominance and influence others, enhancing one's presence and authority, which, I mean, I try and do a lot. Especially in a like professional context, if I'm trying to get my point across, like, I will definitely make sure that my tone is lower, my volume is lower. So I tend to be a loud and boisterous type of person.
What?
So in that change, especially in that kind of context, is like, it draws all the attention and people are like, well, that's weird. And it
is weird.
It works. It works really well. I also do, I'll arrive ahead of a meeting and I'll set up the chairs or like the space the way that I want, that demonstrates where I need to be. So whether that's like, I have somebody who needs kind of a little more propping up, or like they need a little bit more confidence boost, I'll put myself next to them. Or if somebody needs, like, if I want to create more of a confrontation and kind of get my point across, like, I'll make sure that they have to look across the table directly into my eyes. So power posing.
I love it.
Useful tool.
Good. Okay. All right. Now, while the book promotes assertive and strategic behavior, it also underscores the importance of ethical considerations. This is important. You have to use your power wisely. It encourages readers to use these strategies responsibly and to avoid causing harm to others. Which, like, yeah. We want to use it to make ourselves better and progress.
Promote.
Get promoted.
Yes.
There we go.
We definitely want to get promoted. We do want to get promoted. All right. So thinking about all of those key concepts, we're going to apply them to the context of like women and the LGBTQIA plus community and how we can use some of these things to promote
Advance. There we go. That's the word I was looking for.
the women and queer agenda.
Yes. AKA world domination.
World domination. Really traditional gender roles often discourage women from being assertive and labeling such behavior as aggressive or unladylike, which
Bullshit.
they can go fuck themselves. Embracing the confidence and assertiveness promoted in Assholeology can help women break free from these stereotypes and advocate for themselves more effectively. I do think that there is a trend where women are, depending on the circumstances, I think that it's becoming more acceptable for women to be assertive, but there are still many contexts where it's not.
Yeah.
And by adopting these strategies, women can challenge societal expectations and redefine what it means to be confident and assertive in both personal and professional contexts. I think it is much more accepted now to be assertive in a professional context, but it is still not as accepted in a personal context.
Yeah, no.
Especially in what I would consider like heterosexual kind of dynamics, personal relationships, like between a man and a woman. Yeah, I think it's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I read something a while ago about how the language that women use in professional emails and how it's different from the language men use in professional emails.
Yeah.
And like we're always hedging and our language is almost apologetic when we're asking for something or pointing something out instead of just stating the fact or stating the need. And I guess like I haven't read this book, but that's something that I kind of took to heart and kind of tried to change the way I address my emails and make like take out those fluffy words that we tend to put in to make it softer.
And use more periods. Like
Use
it's
more
okay to
periods.
just end a sentence.
I do like exclamation marks. I use those a lot. Maybe a little more than I should.
I've tried to stop that and be like, this is fun. This is okay. Period.
I mean, when it's a like I need this from you, it is I need this from you, period.
Yeah. Here's the deadline.
Yeah.
Period.
So I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I need to read this book.
You do.
All right. So in many professional settings, women may face challenges in asserting themselves due to gender biases. And these strategic behaviors discussed in the book, such as negotiation tactics and power posing, can empower women to claim their space and leadership roles confidently. These tools enable women to navigate office politics and assert their value and contributions effectively, leading to greater professional success and recognition and hopefully raises.
We love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get paid what you're worth.
Yeah.
Sid's helped me navigate that a couple of times.
It's important.
It is.
Very important.
Yeah.
One of the things I think women do really well is empathetic communication, which can be a valuable asset when combined with assertiveness. So balancing those qualities allows women to assert their needs while maintaining that positive relationship. So sometimes those fluff words can be helpful.
Yes.
It's finding the balance. I think the pendulum sometimes can swing, and if you can find that balance, then the combination of empathy and assertiveness can ensure like that you can advocate for yourself and not alienate peers and create unnecessary conflict. So
we don't want that.
Yeah, it's a skill. And trying to find that balance definitely takes some practice and some work. But once you nail it and once you understand it, it's like unlocking everything. It's the key. You're just like, haha,
I'm in.
I can tell you're doing a shitty job, but you'll still go back and like be happy about it.
But I can do it nicely.
Yeah, like, and I think that's such an important skill to learn and develop, especially if you're hoping to achieve in like professional context. Like, it can be really useful. I think in personal context, it's like, it's nice to soften the blow sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm like, when I say I take out the fluffy words, like I'm not being aggressive. Like, my emails are not mean. But I do notice that, like, where one of the men I work with might just say, hey, I need XYZ by X date. Thank you. Bye. I was finding myself being like, hey, if you have time, I need this. It'd be great if we could get it done by this date.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Like, it was overly grateful, overly, like,
Yeah.
you know,
it's interesting.
and it doesn't need to be.
As you were saying that, I bet no man reads an email and says, hey, can I have you read this? Does this sound too bitchy?
How many times have I asked you to do that?
Right? I bet you no man is like,
Is this a little too bitchy?
I should put an exclamation point just so they
don't
know.
care.
Yeah, no. They're going to just... And that's what this book helps kind of drive home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That balance is important. Like, sometimes fluffy words are nice, especially when you're dealing with clients and need to be kind to them.
Which, by the way, is a very American thing. Like, London, like, if you're in, like, they don't overly compliment on anything. And so, like, when you do receive a compliment, you know that it's, like, truthful. But here in the US, we are very much like, oh, I love your shoes.
Yeah.
Even if you don't care. And, like, we're just a very, like, complimentary society.
Yeah.
We are not a stoic people.
We are not. No. No. All right. Let's talk about the queers.
Sure.
So, the LGBTQ community often faces societal pressures to conform to heteronormative expectations. The strategies from Assholeology encourage individuals to embrace their authentic selves and challenge these norms assertively. By doing so, LGBTQ plus individuals can resist pressures to conform, and instead celebrate their unique identities, fostering a sense of pride and a self-acceptance. Which, like, yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
We love that.
Want that for everybody.
We do. Assertiveness and strategic manipulation can be super powerful tools in advocacy efforts. Members of the LGBTQ plus community can use those specific strategies to fight for additional rights, demand inclusion, address discrimination effectively. By employing these tactics, we can advocate for systemic change and greater societal acceptance, ensuring our voices are heard and respected.
Yes.
I love this, and I'm like, I think we're trying to do that. Like,
Yeah.
It's not saying that we're not doing these things, but I think that reading this book can help reframe some of the things that we're already trying to do, and also put a positive connotation on that strategic manipulation.
Yeah.
Which, I think has always been framed manipulation, bad word, when I don't think it needs to be that way. And if we can get ourselves better aligned with how that makes us feel, of like, oh, if somebody tells me I manipulated a situation, I'm pretty much like, sweet, I did a good job. As long as it's like positive and effective,
Right,
and
yeah.
like, I'm not
That ethical.
yeah, the ethics behind it. But like, when somebody's like, oh, that was really strategic, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. Exactly.
it was. That was, I thought through that process. Thank you. That was a great compliment. I appreciate
Yes.
it. Must be in America.
And it must have been a man if they were calling it strategic.
True.
No, that's not true. A woman. Because a man would have called it manipulation.
That's potentially.
We're very much generalizing here. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that. All right. So, confidence. Confidence is crucial for visibility and representation. By adopting the confidence-boosting tactics from the book, LGBTQ plus individuals can enhance their presence in various spheres, from workplaces to social settings. Increased visibility not only affirms their identities, but also challenges stereotypes and promotes a more inclusive society. Through assertiveness and confidence, LGBTQ plus individuals can pave the way for greater acceptance and equality, which is what we want.
Which is what we're striving for.
Yes.
It's what we're trying to do.
Trying to take over the world.
World domination. Pinky in the brain style.
Yes.
Who's Pinky? Who's the brain? I think we both know the answer to that. Just saying.
I feel like you're calling me Pinky.
I didn't say it. You did it.
To be fair, you are the more strategic thinker.
And I learned it from Assholeology, which offers a unique perspective on achieving success through confidence, assertiveness, and strategic behavior.
So after I read the book, I can challenge you. World domination.
You could try, but I read this so long
so much time
ago
to practice.
that I have practiced this.
I'm so far behind.
Buckle up. I really do think that for women in the LGBTQ plus community, the takeaways can be particularly empowering, providing tools to navigate societal challenges and advocate for their rights and needs. By embracing the principles of confidence, strategic behavior, and ethical assertiveness, individuals can enhance their agency and achieve their goals while maintaining those positive relationships and societal harmony. Like,
wouldn't that be nice?
World domination. Like, we don't want to be like, fascists. We're not trying to be dictators. We're just trying to create, unity and cohesiveness.
Make sure everybody is fed and has a place to live and can live comfortably.
Yeah. So go out and read the book. That's the heart of this episode.
That's the takeaway.
There are some really good takeaways from the book. And if you haven't had an opportunity to read it, or maybe you've read it and you're like, oh, right, I completely forgot about that book. Go back and reread it.
Yeah.
And
keep in mind, we are not affiliated or associated or sponsored by this book in any way.
No, it kind of
just
aligned.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it.
Also.
And then go vote. That should be the tagline from now on.
Yeah.
Go vote.
Also, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform and mention who you're voting for. Because go vote.
You don't have to mention who you're voting for.
You don't have to mention who you're voting for.
We know who you should vote for, but that is an individual choice, which should be respected.
Much like bodily autonomy. We're getting off on a tangent.
Let's wrap it up.
Amber said, that's a wrap. Whether you're lifting weights or lifting each other up, let's keep breaking barriers, building strength, and embracing our rainbow of resilience. Until next time, stay fierce and stay fabulous.